just need a consensus. We
Yeah.
really don't need a vote.
Yeah.
So we brought that up in the finance meeting. I think we're at consensus with everybody that we should go ahead and do as suggested. And with that, consensus, we really don't need to approve the consent agenda. Oh, yes.
No, so does anyone disagree, I
Is
guess?
there anybody who wants to speak against that?
The only question I have is we'll have $10,000 difference. Where are we coming up with that at?
It would just have to come from either operating or reserves.
Does
One of the
which
two.
Have the operating for that,
Mm,
or what operating would have to come
Depending
from?
on how the rest of the year goes. As of right now, we've got some money in system repair and maintenance that we don't have really ear notched for anything, but if something breaks down in this fiscal year, we'll have to use it, so.
Is it
As
enough
of
to
today,
cover that?
but I mean, by March 31st. We may need money to adjust to cover it, so.
Okay. Well, we got it covered, yes.
So everybody's okay? Very good. I take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second with Alderman Winston. All in favor? 6-0. Consent agenda is approved. Go to the mayor's report. Okay. On the 14th, it was. Went to the Veterans Day brunch the high school put on. I felt very honored to be there. They did a wonderful job. They put a lot of effort into that. Heartland Pantry did the catering, and as they always do, they did a fantastic job with that. And then they had an assembly for all the veterans were there. They just did it, they just made it feel real special. And it was really nice. And I want to thank them very much for doing that. Mike P gave what's called the keynote speech. There were some members of I don't know what group they were in, but high schoolers that did short little speeches, and they just did a really good job. And the color guard, fantastic. I like seeing the color guard always. Went to the Lava 15-year celebration. Congratulated them on their 15 years of service. Went to the ribbon cutting at Odessa Healthcare. We've got a new therapy wing, so to speak. Doing a lot of good work out there. It's attached to the nursing home Odessa Healthcare is. So they do rehabilitation and things like that. The ribbon cutting there, that was good. Went to the Thanksgiving meeting at the Chamber of Commerce, and I tell you, we got a great Chamber of Commerce people. We really do. They work so hard for this community to get things going in the right direction, and they support one another and they support the community. They're just really a gift to this community. We had a good time there. Christmas lighting. Who didn't enjoy the Christmas lighting? My goodness, that was a wonderful ceremony. Big turnout. Thank you to the Chamber. Thank you to the Optimist Club. Rob Weibel is always doing a great job on the MCs. Wyatt and Waters gave music. And the choirs from the school were awesome. And of course, the electric department for all the work they did putting up those lights, and the couches helping us string the lights as well. Just really means a lot to this community, the efforts put into that. And just want to remind anybody out there that's interested in running for office, December 9th is the first day you can file to run for alderman, wards 1, 2, and 3, and the mayor's seat is also up for election. And then we come to Donna. Yeah, Donna and I graduated high school together, and we didn't run in the same circles, but our circles touched instead of government. What's that?
Solid burn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I didn't hear Mickey, she said, why does she look so much younger than me? Where's her hair? Our circles, they didn't run the same in high school, but they touched. And it overlapped a little bit instead of government. And I feel so blessed to know, and still know you, you're not going away from it.
No.
But to work side by side with you, and you have helped me in so many ways. And I just, we're gonna miss you. There's gonna be a big void in this town, from the garden club to help with the Rotary, the trail around the park, along with Hannah, been doing that with Hannah. And just all the stuff you did downtown, merchants, I mean, you brought a lot to this community, and there will be a void when you leave. But we wish you the very best of luck and good fortune and prosperity in your new chapter in your life. And we're so excited for you in that regard. So thank you, Donna, for all you've done.
Mayor, do you want to do a picture?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Hold
Right here.
Yes.
Yes. This one. Thank you very much. So hold the things, hold them up here. Yeah. Yes, let's.
And with that, we'll move to the Alderman Factor.
Okay, we had a planning and zoning meeting this week. There is a request for a lot split at 301 East Main. This is a corner lot. The property owner is asking for the request, or requesting the split because they want to put another single family house on it. They approved it. They went into their zoning workshop. I'd like to say, this group of people, the way they banter back and forth, the way they discuss things, no one tries to, no one gets loud. No one acts like they know more than anybody else. They disagree. They sit and disagree. They explain to each other why they disagree. And they come together on a decision. It is,
How it's supposed to.
it's how it's supposed to be. Yes, sir.
That is my report. Great. Thank you, Alderman Factor, Alderman Kerrigan.
I second what Mike was saying. I do have a lot of confidence in our planning and zoning that they are able to talk things out. I appreciate that. On our surface, Donna, it's been a pleasure serving with you. It's been great. I know that we bantered a lot too, didn't always agree, but it was always a pleasure to serve with you. And to trust that we could talk things out and see eye to eye and come to a solution. You'll be missed because you do have a big part in this community. So know that. Second, with the mayor, with a lot of the events that have taken place for holiday season, there's a lot of things going on in town. A lot of people involved in the ceremonies and whatnot. Thank you to everybody. If we were to list everybody involved in it, we would still miss somebody.
Sure.
So thank you to everybody that is involved in the city, in the community, and helping make this a special time. I know none of us think that it is a more special time, because it should be, but it is kind of with all the events. And I hope everybody has a good holiday season with their family and friends, and that the chief is not busy helping a lot of people because everybody's healthy and happy. But that being said, I do thank everybody, because we will have emergencies, we will have crews going out in the weather and stuff. So thank you in advance to the city employees who will work out in the cold and the rain and snow and things like that. Department heads, give your people a pat on the back prematurely, because they're gonna earn it, and they always do, and we appreciate that. And we don't always say it, so thank you in advance for everything you guys do to help the community stay the way it is. And that's about all I can.
Very good. Alderman Paulson.
I would like to take note and thank everyone responsible for the wayfinding signs. They look great in the community and they are very helpful and good, so. Yeah, okay.
Alderman Eller.
I was gonna mention the wayfinding signs also, because it's been something that I think we've been working on for 5 years that I know of, so kudos to everybody that got that pulled off. That's great. you guys, I just want to say that, it's bittersweet leaving because I see, so many things that are getting ready to happen here in Odessa that I won't be involved with, but I'll be checking in, and it's been a pleasure to work with every one of you here on the board. So, but I'm not that far away, so phone call is or 40 minutes I could drive down, but it'll be fun to see whoever steps into this role has some great stuff to look forward to that we've got on the plate. Scheduled to do the sidewalks and the interchange and, industrial parks and lots of things. And I want to say that I'm gonna miss Shauna probably most of all because she has just been such a pleasure and a friend, to work with, so. It's all good.
Alderman Starr.
Thank you for putting your time in here. The wayfinder signs. There's only one that I haven't complained about, but I think that's good. Anyway, they're nice. The lighting ceremony was awesome. That was so much fun too, at the end. And just thank you to the city. Kathy's lineup system was awesome. Anyway, that's all.
Alderman Whitson. Well, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving first. Thank you. Hope everyone has a great holiday season. And thank you, Donna, for your times and service. And we haven't gotten along on a lot of things too, but we worked it out.
Makes it fun.
Things get better. I met last week with Ty Wells representing the food truck community and Erica Jones representing the downtown collective. Had a great meeting. They had some ideas to support each other. We went through the ordinance. Most things, there was consensus and no change. There was 2 or 3 things that I think we probably need to discuss at the next Alderman meeting relative to things that we just couldn't come to a consensus with. But I think everyone has a clear understanding of the whys and why nots of everyone's position and why they feel the way that we do. It really was a great meeting. No one raised their voice. Everyone stated their opinion and came up with some ideas. So in the next packet that you'll get, there is a letter, which the 3 of us, I produced the letter. The 2 of them reviewed it and said that yes, that was a summary of what we discussed. And I identified the 2 or 3 items that we need to have more discussion on. So that will be the background for the agenda item for the next meeting. Very good. That's it. Thank you so much. All right. Next is the city administrator report. What I like to call it what's happening.
Do we get a health update first? I'll be back.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. I'll start with the Parks Department. We have basketball practice starting next Monday. For Odessa alone, we have 23 teams, which is up by 4 teams from last year. For the league in its entirety, we have 196 teams, which is up by 22 last year. And there's 9 teams total, and those games will begin on January 3rd. We are down 1 court, which will result in additional court rentals because Lindsay's not getting that much. So for finance, we started a fee analysis as part of the budget process. We're trying to take a little bit deeper dive into the fees than we have in years past. We're also working with department directors to determine the cost for services associated with those fees, and directors are currently working on their budget requests for the upcoming fiscal year. We also did have 1 voluntary annexation request submitted on the North Outer Road. So there's a very tedious and precise process that's associated with that. So we're working together Kathy and I are working together to make sure we hit all of the check marks that are associated and that we do it correctly. And determining what that looks like with working with MoDOT, because they have an additional annexation process that aligns with ours. So we just want to make sure that we do everything by the book. We also have new commercial and residential coming in. As a result, Kathy and Jenny have been working on getting some material put together for new commercial and new residential applicants. So they have that information up front. So making improvements that align with this strategic plan. And all, and then for the police department, thank you, both of you guys for filling in for me while I was gone. I really appreciated it, and I was happy to know I was in very safe hands with everyone, city hall staff, Karen. I did. Once I left, I was fine. I was like, they got this. Leading up to that, maybe a little bit of panic, but once I left, it was all good, and I knew they had it. So thank you for stepping in. The police chief held 2 public engagement events for the public safety sales tax. One was a chat with the chief at the community building, and 2 was coffee with the chief at McDonald's. Both had relatively low turnout, but there were a few attendees. And Jenny with the police department has made significant updates to the website regarding information about the public safety sales tax. So we're continuing through our plan for communication, and just for your all's information, there is additional information on the website. You'd like to check that out. We do have a couple demo permits that are coming down the pipeline here as a result of code enforcement. And we anticipate that those will then turn into new construction after the properties have been demolished. For the outlet mall, we're continuing to move forward with their compliance. If you've been out there recently, they've filled quite a few potholes. And they are planning to work on some lighting improvements in the parking lot as of right now. And then in the spring, they are planning to replace 4 of the 5 roofs at on that side of the outlet mall. And then also they are planning to have some of the gutter repaired and some external painting done in the spring. So we are seeing progress there. In regards to 610 East Orchard, which we've mentioned a few times, there are some pretty significant concerns to the overall services that are being provided to the residents out there by the owner. The property is posted for sale. We're just continuing to monitor that situation as best that we can. But we may be needing to look into different abatement options or other options. Galen's done a great job of building relationships with some of the other trailer parks in town to encourage and suggest or lead to some self-abatement options for those to make overall improvements. We've been working on for the past year. Our program has been focused on junk vehicles. We are planning at this time for our next year's program to be around tree maintenance and dead trees. For the electric department, Troy's been keeping an eye on some broadband legislation that's coming or has been heavily discussed that would, in simple terms, would give a little bit more authority to broadband providers when it comes to right of way and take a little bit of our authority off of right of way, which would be detrimental to where our utilities are housed is managed, which is concerning for us. So we're looking into ways that we can combat that legislation. We've been working for the electric department. They've been working on a couple different larger commercial projects that have been under construction, one being the West Main commercial building, getting electric right size for their usage, and as well as the singular parcel at the future industrial park off of Reich Road and Hotner's parcel at 40 and Johnson. And then we also extended an offer for an apprentice position, and we're planning to extend an offer for a journeyman position. So that's really exciting to bring us back to full staff once they get onboarded. For community development, Jenny's working, I feel like she's acclimating very well. She's seeing opportunities for improvements and she's made significant improvements already in her first month to just the materials that are available, the applications. One of her big goals is making sure that the information on the website is current, accurate, and useful to those who are applying. So we're very happy with the impact she's made already. And then City Hall staff they did a little bit of cloud permit training. We have new staff, so we're getting them all on the same page regarding the training that's available for our permitting software that we currently use for business licenses. And we'll be receiving a demo soon for the community development side of that programming that we haven't utilized this far. We also have an upcoming staff training for all City Hall staff in early December to help us, now that we kind of have our, new team, full team, kind of do a little bit of team building and communication management to get us all on the same page and working well. So, like mentioned, the wayfinding signs have begun installation. And the downtown sidewalk, I don't know if this was announced previously, but the downtown sidewalk project is officially out for bid for the second time. So been a long time coming, and we've definitely been able to check that box. So that makes me feel pretty happy. So and Donna, thank you so much. And not even from myself, I would generally speak on behalf of all of our staff, but thank you so much for the support you've given to our employees. It means more than you know. Thank you. I'm gonna pretend like it's not happening. Back to your
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Call for public comments. There are none. All right, first up, we have Missouri Representative Terry Thompson to provide an update on legislative issues.
Well, first of all, it's my honor and privilege to represent Jeff City. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come tonight. Basically, when I first was elected in my campaign, I indicated that faith and family was very important to me and still is today. But and as you kind of go back and listen to everybody in the room, communication is so important today. And, from that communication, you try to educate everybody on the issue diplomatically and build relationships. And that's so important. And from what was discussed around here, I applaud you for having meetings where everybody can speak their piece and go on. I will tell you, it's not that way in Jefferson. And when I say that, I mean, and I go back and here, I want to thank you all and the staff for the communication with me. That's the only way I'm kind of aware of situations. And in fact, the other day, it was really kind of interesting because we had 3 Thompsons on the phone call at one time. We got a lot accomplished, but it hasn't been followed up on yet.
I think you're a little biased toward Tom.
And again, I mean, the chamber does do a fantastic job. And I have an excellent rapport with the schools. We'll always listen. Public education is important. and the newspaper. I enjoy commenting there. And as I go out, I mean, you know, the constituents of the community, you know, when you reach out to me, you know, and I can help, that's satisfaction I get on my job. Because there's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy. Okay, so I'm gonna be brief tonight. I will answer any questions anybody has. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the session, last semester session. And then I'm also going to address some concerns that I have. And when I address those concerns, I don't want to be perceived as negative. I want to be perceived as real and concerned. So, last session, the House filed 1,713 bills. And the Senate filed 907 pieces of legislation, of which there were 67 that ended up on the governor's desk, and 17 of that was budget. So a lot of legislation filed, and in my opinion, way too many. But my point on this is that with 60 bills, there was 893 amendments offered on those bills, of which 355 was adopted. And when there's a piece of legislation and you immediately know, or you hear what's good and what's bad, but then when on the floor, all these amendments start adding up. And if there's 10 amendments on one bill, there might be 7 you like or 7 you disagree with. And it's difficult sometimes to actually figure out what the truth is. And, you know, that everybody, you know, wants to get their amendment, their pet peeve on there. And it's really challenging on that. I believe in clean bill, and it's a rarity down there. And on that, legislation last year, we did some things for public safety, and you know we did several things for education, and the governor proposed several things, and I respect him for public education. I disagree with charter schools and all the scholarships. I mean, I think that charter schools need to abide by the same thing that public schools do. And, you know, I know we're supposed to educate all kids, I understand for them, but I voted against it because I felt it was too much money. Then also there was legislation, you know, for safety issues out there. And there was also legislation that was filed for veterans, for temporary housing, for foster children. Then we really have to look at rural hospitals. We've got to step up and figure out what's going on there. They're very important to us. And I will tell you, and that's one thing I'm a little concerned about, is there is some hospitals out there that have not been reimbursed the state's portion of the Medicaid that's owed them for over 5 years. And, you know, it's a struggle. I don't think there's anybody in here that can operate in business and not get paid for 5 years. And then also, we mandate so much. And when I say that, I mean, the county particularly, you know, we mandate what they have to pay somebody, we mandate this, mandate that. School districts the same way. And we have got to get to local control. And when I say that, I've apologized before and I apologize again tonight. The safety sales tax. It took 4 years to get it down out of Jeff City. And from the first year to the 4th year, look what it cost you. And that's not fair. And you know what your constituents want. And if you promote it and do it right, they'll vote for it. And that's what we need is the local control. And I have introduced every bill every year for the last since Odessa. For, that we stay out of that. We allow you to do sale, but we put a cap on it somewhere. And of course, it doesn't go anywhere. But I've apologized to the Richmond City Council because they've had a safety sales tax down there for 2 years. And Lexington has had a safety sales down there for 2 years. And there was 28 communities last year that had issues like that for different. And there was only one that got passed. Yeah, and that's because the senator fought for it and put it on something over the House, in the Senate. And that's where I say that, communication was so important. And I encourage anyone and everyone to come to Jeff City. And if you come as a group, I'll make sure we get a hearing and go from there. But it's just so important to be heard. Yeah. And go in that direction. Again, I would answer any questions at all on the bills from last year. We did eliminate the capital gains tax and eliminate, not reduce it. And we're the only state that did that. And I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit. And again, I don't want to be perceived as negative because we did several good things. We tried to help veterans and go in that direction. But I am just concerned with all the amendments that's on some of these bills. And it's very difficult when an amendment is presented and it's 50 pages long. And you have a certain amount of time to look at it for the vote. And it's difficult to find key words. Shall, could, would, fund, appropriate. And you're gonna miss them. And that's what I think that gets us in trouble. We need to clean bills. Okay, all right, the next session. Bills can be pre-filed on December the 1st, and it's on a Sunday, so December the 2nd this year. But there is going to be so much legislation that is filed to eliminate taxes. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like to pay taxes more than anybody else. But yet to eliminate them and not have a way to replace them is very difficult. And there was one bill that, and it's going to be filed in regular session because it was drawn up in special session, that would cost the state of Missouri almost $1 billion. Now, if I take $1 billion, that's going to affect the city. That's going to affect the services. And we can't do that. And that's where we need communication and to try to educate, And again, like I said, I don't like taxes more than anybody else. But I do think that we need to be more accountable where, you might not agree with the way the money's spent, but at least you're gonna know where it goes and actually go. It seems like that to get an issue passed, we have to say, okay, the money's going to education, money's going to veterans. And that gets a little complicated, because it's not all of the money, it's the money that that makes. And sometimes, that needs to be disclosed to you also. We complicate things so much today that everything seems to be challenged in court. And when it gets challenged in court, the legal system wins. And we've got to stop that. This coming year, the budget is going to be at $52 billion. And it has grown every year. And it's a big state, you know, but here again, we need to hold departments more accountable. And, kind of working on that. I have spent several days in the Capitol this summer. And I am really concerned, about the increasing amount of tax credits. And, tax credits are very important. And we need those for growth and to attract. But then yet, we need more accountability. If we take $500,000 out here for XYZ tax credit, we need to see, okay, the return is going to be this. Okay, and then it needs to be followed up on. And right now it's every 6 years, but there's a way to get around that, and some of them are doing that. I just think there needs to be more accountability. Because if we take the money, we want to make sure there's a return, because we're lowering the money that's coming in the general budget. Also, when the tax credits increase and we decrease taxes, that gap widens. And it's going to be very easy for some representatives to stand up there and say, let's cut education, or let's cut this, cut that. And I have indicated, and they know that I think it's more important for us to manage the state's money better. And you can probably give some examples of that. Right. And again, we just need to be more accountable. I have had the new director of the Department of Revenue in my office, and we have good discussions. And one of my concerns is the temporary license tax. Those people have not paid sales tax. We pay ours. They haven't paid theirs. And, I have a commitment from her, and she has worked, that if I give her the license number or take a picture of that temporary tag, that she will write a personal letter and follow up. And she has, and I respect that. And that's where we need to manage the state's money better. Today, it's a challenge for everybody in businesses and everything else. And we just have to manage better. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of discussion on eliminating eliminating tax credits. And here again, we'll have to look at each one of them and go from there. I think that's going to be the big issue in session this year, and go from there. But again, I don't want to be perceived negative. I've got a lot of concerns, and I appreciate working with everybody here, and would always welcome comments or whatever. And that's the only way I know. I will tell you, and going back to communication, I have requested, and they have agreed in 2 of my communities now, to have MoDOT come and meet with the city. And the city will have an agenda and a list of things that has been brought up, that has been ignored and just ignored. Like, for example, the speed coming in south on 131. That needs to be addressed, and we need their help, to do. And there's other things out there. And so they have agreed. I'm going to request and visit with Sean later, the same thing here. Right. And as I indicated earlier, coming in tonight, I was 6 minutes on the 131 bridge, and there was 5 cars in front of me, and the traffic coming off of 70
Can't do it.
was amazing. And I hope that the plan that they have for out there eliminates that. And, there's other things besides teardrops and roundabouts. So, again, thanks for listening to me. I'll answer any question and go from there.
Terry, do we have any idea yet on the direction that we're heading on property tax refund?
No, there was a committee of 28 that went around the state. And in Kansas City, some of the representatives were so rude and disrespectful to the superintendents who was trying to explain the impact and all this. They are looking at possibly capping part of it. They are really looking at the tax commission. And it's like, in Lafayette County, the tax commission come up and said, hey, you gotta increase the tax to 7%. And I met with the commissioners and the assessor and collector. And until somebody gives me a reason why it has to go up, I don't ignore it. And they did, they took it to the final step, and then they kind of got threatened by, and so they saw it. And again, appraisals are worth the paper they're written. And if Lafayette County is so under the appraised value that they have, that we have, then somebody needs to communicate share. And I think that here, we know more what the true values are than somebody sitting in the town. And again, that goes back to communicate. I attend the state banking board meeting each month. And I'm beginning to see delinquencies now in real estate loans because of the increase in escrow. And when I say that, I have a young farmer that I had helped when I was in the banking business. And his escrow between insurance and taxes went up $400 a month. And got 2 kids. And it's personal. And also along with that, I see the consumer debt continue to rise, continue to rise, continue to rise. So, you know, and again, I mean, I'm just really concerned. And going back to respectful meetings and communication relationships, I have been in DC, I've been in the capital out here, and everybody is trying to look on how to help the ag industry, not necessarily the farmer, because, you know, I mean, they're the ones that need the support. But I mean, look at your businesses that rely upon the farm. And like, you know, a farmer now is selling his calf very smaller, where he used to take it to the butcher up here, people would buy it. So that business is in, you know, new combines and everything. And again, in that room, and it was over an hour, nobody could agree. Well, I want this, you want that. Nobody could agree. So again, my age, my mouth kind of gets me in trouble sometimes. And I stood up and said, you know, if we can't agree, maybe we'd be better off if we just stay out. And then I'll leave the room, but I know that I'm talking. But again, we have got to get back to local control. So, all right, so any other questions, comments, or anything?
The temporary tech thing, my biggest pet peeve, Inspire. I can send you pictures all day. You will take care of them.
I did.
I can send you pictures all day.
Yeah.
I hate that.
On that, it would seem like if they're kept track of and the temporary tag matched up with a system that shows that a car wasn't registered, that the Department of Motor Vehicles might have that information. But not enough people to do the matching up, I guess.
And the system is going to change where you pay your taxes at a car dealership. But
Right.
the computer system was behind. And so that's part of the reason why we're making that change. But I have asked, I said, how many are out there? They can't tell me. Now, when I go to the association, they can kind of tell me what they think, and it's a lot of money. Right, yeah. And again, you know, it's a challenge, and I agree. But, and they're again, that's my comments on accountability. You do. We have got to hold some departments more accountable. So. Yeah. Additional comments? All right. Well, thank you for your time tonight. Thanks for the- And again, we will follow up on a couple issues. When I get a schedule on MoDOT, we'll make a list and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next one, okay, I need a motion for approval. Ms. Donna is not able to fulfill the role of acting president of the board, so any longer since she's leaving us. We need approval of the acting president of the board of Aldermen to fill Alderwoman Ellert's term. I would take nominations for that position.
I nominate Bruce.
I'll say.
Okay, we've got two nominations. Any further nominations? All in favor of Alderman Whitson? Three. All in favor of Alderman Blackton? Got three.
Point.
First
I
time,
think you get.
Alderman Whitson.
Okay.
As long as he will accept the role, of course. As long as he'll accept the role, of course. Yeah, all right, thank you. All right, and now we need the approval of the appointment of a finance committee member to replace Alderwoman Ellert's term. And that would, because it has to be work specific, we have one option.
Yeah.
Anyone want to formally nominate Alderman Flaherty for that?
I will nominate Alderman Black for the role.
All right, any further nominations? There can't be. All in favor of Alderman Black? We got five, there we go. We got 6-0, all right. So those two motions of approval have been approved. Next up, resolution number 2025-30. Proposed resolution number 2025-34, authorizing the expenditure of funds for the 2026 electric cost of service and rate study between the city of Odessa, Missouri and Algier, Martin and Section. Oh, I missed one, didn't I?
Yeah,
Go
back to the night.
All right, back up. Motion of approval, approval of the amended police station lease with the 1912 Development Group LLC effective November 1st, 2025. And this came up because I understand why it came up. We had extensions, but that didn't give us extra time on the rental, how long the police department could stay there. So we fixed that, and we just need a motion to of approval for this to be accepted. Any discussion?
I just wanted to correct my board action report.
Okay.
So the first year of the $0 lease agreement does not begin until the leaser obtains a building permit. It does not begin on November 1st, which is how I stated it in my board action report. So I just wanted the board to be aware that until the developer obtains a building permit, once that obtains, that begins year one of the 3-year $0 lease. Then year 4 would be the schedule. So I wanted to correct my board action.
I was gonna recommend that be what the new schedule should be.
And that's what the agreement is for, is
So do
to
we
begin when the building permit is obtained.
Yeah, because right now the timeline has already started.
Okay,
It is an amendment, but different than what it stated here. So we can make sure we make an amendment.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not on the agenda.
No, it's not on the agenda.
Just the
So,
board
it's-
action
it's-
report was incorrect.
It is on the agenda, but it is not on the contract.
The agreement is correct.
The agreement,
My board
yeah,
actually
the agreement is correct.
was worded
And what
incorrectly.
you're approving is perfectly fine
Yeah.
too. So nothing needs to be changed. You can still approve what's on the agenda as is.
Yeah, and I will make note of that in the minutes, so that should.
The one begins on the date he gets his first permit.
Until, it says, until the leaser obtains a building permit for the redevelopment project, you will pay $0 per annual. And then that does not, until that, the year 3 would begin once they obtain the building permit, yes, and then year 4 and 5 after
I
that.
see, okay, I get it.
Do we got that?
Wait a second, now you got me confused. You say year 3. Yeah, the first 3 years.
The first
start.
correct.
Yeah, year 1 would start, then we go 3 years with no lease.
Correct.
Then year 4
Well,
would
it'd
then.
be at least $0
Sorry,
payment.
zero payment for lease for
Correct.
the first 3 years. Those first 3 years start when we issue him a bill.
That's correct, yes.
But the amendment is effective November 1st.
Correct. Everybody good now?
All right, I would take a motion to approve the motion is approved.
I'll make a motion to approve, control building amendment for the police station.
Second. Motion and a second, all in favor? Six.
I don't think-
Is that four? Four, okay. 6-0. Motion carried. Resolution 2025-34 authorizing the expenditure of funds for the 2026 electric cost of service and rate study between the city of Odessa, Missouri and Algier, Martin and Associates. I would take the motion. Oh, no, let's have some discussion first. Anyone want to discuss?
So, will the rate study include?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But what the rate study include recommendations for being able to lower our rates?
Yes, yeah, so. All inclusively, what we requested of them was that they take a look at our class structure. But as a result of them looking at the cost of services study, they're going to look at the global picture to understand if we are grossly overcharging. So one of the examples or something that was brought up was our pilot payment that we pay to general fund and our administrative transfer. So I spoke with him on the phone today. He talked a little bit to me about that and mentioned that he would take a deeper dive into that so we better understand what we're allowed to do too. And there is a potential that we've maybe exceeded what we're allowed to do with that relationship between our utility funds and our general fund. So definitely, for example, if we were to need to lower pilots or lower the admin fee, that could result in, but what his overall point of doing this is to better understand the class structures, but he's going to tie those class structures with the cost of services for each of those different classes. So if the cost of services are equal to what our class is now, then there is no rate to be lowered. I kind of equated it to our salary study. We're doing a salary study, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's getting a raise. It's the same thing with this. We're going to do a rate study, but that doesn't necessarily mean that rates are for sure going to increase or they're for sure going to lower. But that's the whole entire point of the study, is to better understand where we are and where our rates align and if they should be increased or lowered.
About ways of lowering our wholesale.
That would also be included. I don't necessarily know if this will get us the ability to lower our wholesale costs verbatim. I think a lot of the point in hiring the on-call engineers was for them to help us globally with our electric department. So there's a few different ways we can do that. There's taking a look at the cost of services, taking a look at the different class structures, but there's also the system analysis that they can do. They're able to build a complete model that can tell us exactly where, maybe some of our weaker points are within our system, how we can make improvements to improve the system to be more efficient and therefore reduce our wholesale costs. So that will be looked at here, but maybe not, this study is not the end all be all that will help us to determine whether or not we can or cannot lower our wholesale costs. Is that fair?
I understand what you're saying. I'm just really disappointed with how long the process takes. And it's, you know, nothing that's our fault. It's just, it takes forever to get anything to talk. You know that I've talked to.
Yep.
For the 7 months I've been on reducing some of these costs in different ways, and do different things. And we finally have a great study, but we're not gonna have it done, even if it speeds it up. We're not gonna have it done in time to do anything that can save us on the wholesale cost, which is the biggest part, biggest expense where we save some money.
I agree.
So we would be looking at a year plus another 3-4 months down the road before we would be able to really budget and make any changes to that cost.
Yep.
Very disappointing that it take us that long to get out.
I understand. I agree. I wish we could move things much faster, but it just doesn't happen overnight. And we want to do it right. We don't want to rush anything. It's just unfortunate, but yes,
Thank you.
it takes time.
Further discussion? Seeing none, take a motion to approve resolution number 2025-30.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-34, electric cost of service and use.
Got a motion and a second, Alderman Kerrigan, all in favor? 6-0, resolution passes.
I will add to just in the discussions with David from AMA, he did mention too that these numbers provided for these services are the not to exceed. So he put these numbers together based on estimates of how long he thinks each different step of the process is going to take. For example, presentations, he calculated that at the worst possible scenario that could happen in order to determine what the not to exceed is. So for example, he put 3 meetings at 4 hours a meeting with the potential for an overnight if it should be required. So it's unrealistic that he's going to need all of the hours he's budgeted for this project. Overall, that's just an example.
Thank you. All right. Proposed resolution number 2025-32, authorizing the mayor to sign a developers agreement between the city of Odessa, Missouri and developers Steve and Lisa Bailey regarding the Hill Development Project. Discussion.
Sir, Mayor, we actually need a motion, a second, and then discussion for resolution.
Take a motion for approval. We can get a motion for approval. Because we get this, is that right?
You can do a motion to approve, yes. And if that fails, there's no second, or if they decide to not do that, you can then have a motion. Well, it just fails that.
We've been doing it all along the way. All right. So we'll take a motion to approve.
Well, it fails before I think it takes.
Or it'll fail. Number 2, you're taking a motion.
I'll make a motion.
You can vote on your own. Okay.
I was gonna try to go back here.
Go ahead.
So I will make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-32, the Hill Developers Agreement.
Okay. Second, now we'll have discussion.
Here.
Yes.
Okay. Back to you.
I must abstain.
All right. All right, let's have some discussion about this. We didn't have a lot of discussion last time around, so what do y'all want to talk about?
Stop.
We just need to get this off of
Okay.
Let's just vote.
Okay. All right.
Nothing's changed from the last time it failed.
Nothing's changed from the last time, but exactly the same. We just thought maybe since Shauna was here, she has been an integral part of the discussions, that she'd be a resource for any discussion you wanted to have that wasn't available since she wasn't available last time.
You have anything you can add?
I'll just add that I can say, while nothing has changed from last till this time, I will say we did take significant efforts to negotiate back and forth, and I mean, we've been negotiating on this item for close to a year at this point. So this is kind of the final result of those negotiations. So we've done that with myself. We've done that with Lauber's office. We've met in person with the Baileys and their attorney more than once. We've done ample negotiations, and now we're kind of at a stalemate. So that's my opinion.
So just validate and understand this correctly. So the electrical is part of it, one thing. But where does the damage to the road come in? If I understand correctly, and correct me if I do not understand it, we're paying him to fix a road that he damaged during construction, an existing road, not new roads. That's a totally different subject.
Yeah.
But an existing road that he damaged during construction, we're paying him to fix a city road in this agreement that he damaged.
Yep. That was put into the credited amount. Yes.
Okay. That's the stickler that I have.
It is not all, there's not an itemized breakdown of the $130,000 credit. So I can't say that 1/3 of that is a part of the street or it's not.
Yeah, that's clear.
It is itemized on there. Okay, well,
At least what we were getting
yeah,
on the last
Yeah.
time.
Presented that bid, remembering that bid.
yes, of the 64,000. Yes, but I mean, I don't know if you can necessarily apply the 64 directly to the 130, because they're saying, here's the expenses, and then here's $130,000 credit. I don't know. Let me find it on here. Is it in the packet?
I guess that was the only confusing part. I know that there were negotiations with the hill and whatnot, but the damage to the road, in my opinion, would be something separate that he should fix because he damaged it to his equipment. And it shouldn't be part of this agreement. It would be no different than I drive my tractor across the street from my house, you'd make me pay for it if I had to do it.
Right, but that's just the difference between if you were to peel off 64 from the 130, that gives you 65, but there's additional expenses beyond 65. So you cannot say that the 65 is for 100% of the road costs. There's developer costs, there's road costs, and there's $130,000 credit.
So that's what I wanted to clarify is, are we paying him to fix that road?
A portion of the credit would have to apply to some of the road expense, yes.
Alderman, I don't recall who it was, like, spoke with, I don't remember it was you, Colin, or Kathy, but we had looked at the bill that was presented, and it had the square footage of the road and beach repairs and the square footage of the meter. And we calculated the amount of that cost that was for the repair, and I'm thinking it was something like $6,900. Was cost that would have been allocated in that bill to the repair. Is that you, Kathy, that I was?
Yeah, we have that conversation. I think you have that conversation.
Yeah, since we add these two together, yeah.
So that's what we're looking at, that cost for the repair.
Because I was involved in the negotiations, I can speak to where the Baileys believe that a portion of the road expense should be split between us. And their perspective of that is that the due to the condition of the road prior to construction, led to a portion of the deterioration of the road.
I can see that argument.
So that is the counter that we've, gone back and forth on during these negotiations, that due to the condition of the roads prior to construction, that led to additional breakdown of the road by their vehicles.
Any other concerns need to be addressed? For the vote. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? 4-1 with 1 abstention. Motion, the resolution carries. Next up, we've got the strategic plan conversation. Police. On up, Chief Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. You have to put up with my voice tonight. I do have it back. Last week I didn't have it at all. So bear with me. In your packet, I think the final page of the packet was distracting. And this is a nice little graphic that Sean and City Hall put together during your all's strategic planning sessions. And I'm just going to kind of go down through those. Last board meeting, we discussed the public safety sales tax. I'll only touch on that just a little bit. But approving a funding mechanism for a new police facility was listed first. And we're halfway there. You all approve the language for the 3/8 sales tax that will go on the ballot for voters to decide on in April. The second half of that is for the voters to approve the mechanism. And I just put a slight timeline because Representative Thompson had mentioned that to get this to the voters has taken 5 years. It took 4 years in the state and then a couple of years for us. So this process to get this to the voters started in 2018, 2019. The police department was relocated to the facility in 2014. And the alderman at the time of my appointment told me that it was a temporary location and that they would work hard to find a permanent solution for the police department facility, a modern police facility. But a funding mechanism was a question they had. So at that time, the public safety sales tax was discussed. We met with Representative Thompson. We gained support in Jeff City. We had our legislation passed and signed by the governor. And that took time. And of course, in 2024, we approached the public and they said no. And they said no for reasons that we're trying to make corrective mechanisms for. We're trying to correct how the information is shared, trying to answer questions when we can and get the correct information out to the public. Of course, everything listed below that has to kind of go with the facility. If you look at some of those action items that you all had come up with. The one I wanted to take a moment to visit with you briefly about is second to the last, ensure adequate personnel for operational needs. Times previous, when we have the budget discussions, we have discussed personnel. And one of those examples is animal control and codes. Currently, I have one full-time employee who on paper is supposed to be a 50-50 employee, but in all honesty, it's about 95-5, 90-10. She's a very hard worker, and I'm blessed to have Galen working for us.
When you say 95-10, which way?
Codes enforcement, overwhelmingly codes enforcement.
Just want to clarify.
So future discussions that you all should have, in my opinion, should include staffing at the police department level. But I don't want to end with just codes enforcement and animal control. I have no detective. My lieutenant, who handled investigations, is still handling investigations while supervising 6 employees. Investigations aren't ending, not to go into all of it, but if anything, they are increasing. City Administrator Davis and I have had recent conversations about those investigations, and they're complex. They take a lot of time and effort from my staff to investigate those because we want good prosecutions in court. So I just bring that to your attention, but I can tell you that we've already taken steps. Let's use animal control as the example. We've already taken steps in previous CIP budget requests and laying out that capital improvement over 5 years. And next year, 2026, 2027, we're proposing, as we go through the budget discussions, animal control, a standalone animal control facility. Now, what can that do? The mayor and I have had discussions about expanding animal control to do more than just dogs. Cats are always a discussion amongst my animal control and the public. But we need a facility and a mechanism to be able to take on that workload. Like I said, Gayleen is a wonderful employee. I'm happy to have her, but she's running thin on her time. And she could only get so much accomplished. Alderman Davis explained to you some of those codes enforcement positive goals that she has, that Gayleen has accomplished. The Outlaw being one of the biggest ones, 610 East Orchard being another one. Some of these houses that are being demoed, that is Gayleen's work there. And the relationships that she's building. So next budget year, we're proposing, a standalone animal control facility. That doesn't come out of a potential public safety sales tax. That is capital improvement dollars we're requesting to put towards that project. There's also grants available for some of those projects too. We will continue to apply for and try to receive grants for that. One of the other things in the CIP, excuse me, for 2026, 2027 is police data and records and e-citation upgrades. One of the action items is implementing a digital records room to secure restricted access. The software that we're currently using is 20 years old. And with PI, personal identifiable information, we have to safeguard that information. We need to make sure that the information we're obtaining, social security numbers, dates of birth, credit card information for those fraud cases, are being held secure within our databases. So working with other jurisdictions to pool and share our resources is something that I'm working on, but we're proposing capital improvement dollars to assist us in doing that. There's other grant dollars available for that too, and we will continue to work on that. Why do I explain some of this stuff? And I'll end with this. One of the success items that you have on this graphic is increased officer retention rates within the department. 2025, we've seen some turnover in our department. I'll bring next board meeting, I'm going to bring a couple of officers to introduce them to you. We have an opening that will be coming available here very soon, and I will work to backfill that position. So in 2025, a lot of turnover. And some of the feedback I'm getting from those is they're finding that information. They're finding that other departments are offering those data records and e-citation upgrades already. They're offering they're offering a secure police facility for them to work in. And while that's not necessarily the only reason why people are leaving small police departments like Odessa, it is one of the reasons why, the feedback that I'm getting. So I'll just end with that. I think that the police, your all's goal that you have set for the police department is wonderful. I think that your all's assistance with getting the correct information out about the public safety sales tax. None of it, the police facilities, some of these upgrades are not gonna be, they'll be cost prohibitive without a funding mechanism behind them. So we hope that the voters will get out to vote in April and, understand the reasons why we're approaching them with this public safety sales tax. And with that, I will end or answer any questions you might have.
Sure. So you mentioned some of the reasons why we do have a extra rate. What other things are out there? 'Cause you mentioned, data collection, security, secure the facility. I'm assuming pay is one, because
Salary, yes,
Salary.
benefits. Mhm.
what else is out there that they're reason, what are other variables?
Public support and opinion.
Okay.
We have, I feel we have wonderful support in this community. But if you look at law enforcement in Missouri, law enforcement across the United States, more and more are leaving the business without people getting into the business. A recent statistic from the Missouri Police Chiefs Association would indicate almost 3-to-1 leaving versus replacement in Missouri. So we're fortunate that currently, as we sit today, we're full staff. I will be losing one here in about a month, and I already have a mechanism to attract a new candidate. But some jurisdictions aren't that fortunate. Yes, one thing that I'm very grateful, and my staff is very grateful. So I want to thank you for the wage and compensation study that you all agreed to allow the city to entertain. But my staff has already been involved in that. Myself as department director has already been involved in that, and we're moving into the next phase of that wage compensation study. So. Bruce, do you have something?
I just was wondering what our estimated ETA is for that,
For what?
the wage study.
I don't remember off the top of my head, mostly because I've disconnected for 2 weeks, but I can let you know what the
Let's say it's right
estimated,
first year, they would be providing.
like January 15th-ish.
Providing the board with their draft report, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, every time we see the consent agenda and the number of cases that our police department handles on a monthly basis and how you operate and get that all accomplished in the facility that you have is commendable. So I can't imagine how wonderful a step up it would be to have a facility that you can actually do this. So
Interviewing witnesses, victims, and suspects separately is. I can tell you that we're successful and proud of my crew, but just think about you give them a facility and how much more successful they will be.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're giving them the tools and be able to accomplish the mission. So thank you for that. And thank you for your service though.
Yeah.
Anything else for Chief?
Thank you very much.
Okay, stay tuned for the capital improvement for this next budget. Because we might have some things on it.
Shameless plug.
Thank you.
All right, next scheduled meeting will be Monday, December 8th. We have one question.
Are we on the snow or the road barn? If that's out for bid again?
It went out for bid a second time. It's closed. We received one bid and it's over budget. So we still need to go back to, and regroup and kind of see if we have any options on the table. We've recently allocated a large portion of our CIP reserves for the sidewalk project. So if it wasn't for that, we could probably pull it from those reserves, but without that, it'll either be tight or we won't be able to.
Next scheduled meeting is Monday, December 8th, 6 p.m. The time for any alderman would like to make a request to have anything put on the agenda. The food truck, food truck ordinance summary.
During that, will I and Derek have time to discuss about it? Or is that just you?
Yeah, we're gonna invite Tarek and Ty both to come up and be part of the discussion. Anything else?
There, we need a vote on that, please.
Oh, yeah. You know,
I'm spacing it. All in favor of Alderman Witt's suggestion for the agenda for the food truck summary report? Six in favor, 6-0. Carried. All right, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor? 6-0.
Who will be second?
Second. Who seconded the motion to?
Take your pick.
I made the motion, I don't know who said.
Take Alderman Carey. We already did.
That's good.
Not for long, you're gonna get up there and you're gonna get itching. You're gonna get up there. Yeah, I. Get involved.
Oh, I guess I should shut this off.
I don't know.